screen.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, we'll start. Can we start?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We have with us Ma'am Shilpa Mehta. Ma'am carries a very rich experience of almost 20 plus years and into variety of fields. I mean, right from a voracious reader to a storyteller to, working into a radio platform to, writing interesting books on science and environment and taking a foray into the area of entrepreneurship. So she's been into it for quite some time and she's been doing wonderful set of activities, connecting with the startups and entrepreneurship educators all around, teaching entrepreneurship skills to the students around. So today, ma'am is going to talk to us about the legal compliances for the companies. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us this evening and sharing your valuable time with us.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Over to you.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Hello, good evening, everyone. So I hope you can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think you all have been having very interesting sessions regarding all the other aspects of setting up any startup. So today I would be talking about something which is very important, and if you don't follow this, you might fall into the trap of legal issues, various lawsuits. So I would be talking about legal compliances for companies. Okay, so now you have got an idea. Fine. Just a second. Just a second, ma'am. Okay, yeah. So you have got an idea and now you want to materialize it. So the first step after your idea, generation of idea, is funding part of it. That means from where you would be getting the seed investment for your project. Whether it would be your own funds or it would be borrowings from your friends, relatives, or bank loans, or from any other scheme. Now, Government of India has provided so many schemes for wealth generation and creation of employment. Some of the schemes are like Mudra or a Startup India scheme. Under this scheme, women entrepreneur and SC/ST candidates are given loans, and that too at a very low rate of interest. Of course, I won't be going into detail of all these things because that is not a part of today's topic, but I'm just giving you an idea. Then whether you want angel investors for your funding or venture capital funding, so whatever your idea of funding is. So after deciding about the idea and funding, you have to decide what type of an entity you are going to be. Because once you decide the type of entity you are going to be, all the compliances are going to be based on that, because there are 5 types of entities, and all the compliances, rules and regulations and policies are different for these different entities. Okay, so first of all, what do you mean by compliance? I would be talking about this, rather I would be using this word quite often. So first of all, let us understand the meaning of compliance. By compliance, you mean conforming by a rule, such as any specifications, laws and policies. And if you follow compliance, it is going to save your time and it would be very smooth for your business also and for the growth of your business. Because if you will not follow any of the compliances, you would be fined with hefty fines and penalties, and in some cases even lawsuits would be filed against you. So initially, you might think it's not very important, but over a period of time, you will realize its importance. So to save yourself from any hassle, any legal complications, you should conform to all the rules and regulations so that you can focus on your business, which is your main aim. Okay, so how can you do it? First is you can establish any legal department within the company, which generally most of the companies do. But since you are at a smaller level, so it won't be possible. So what can you do is you can outsource it to various experts for timely compliance with required laws, because you won't be able to understand each and everything. So it's always better to hire someone who is going to do the job for you. So always make it a point to keep aside some budget for this. That means for the fees of these experts. Okay, you can hire a chartered accountant, you can hire a lawyer for drafting various agreements and various other things. They will keep a record of everything, they will give you proper advice, and they will maintain all your documents. So compliance is important, right? So whatever you are doing, the basic and the most important, or rather I would say the key word right from the word go is documentation. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are filing for, or anything you're doing, you maintain a record of it. Okay, a well organized record, whether it's a hard copy or a soft copy. So you should document all the written policies and protocols, the previous ones, the current versions, the reports, and all the communications which you do with various authorities. Fine, because if you will not do it, sorry, because any startup, right from its inception, right from the hiring of employees or setting up any office, compliance is important, and there are many issues which even you might not be aware of, like obtaining various registrations from various labor authorities. If you are a manufacturing unit, you have to comply with various indirect tax laws. Then you have to deal with various supply chains, vendors, and intellectual property, licensing, and you have to also see that you are protecting your business from the risk in the business environment in which you are operating. Okay, so it is always better to have the basic understanding of various laws, rules, and regulations for running up of the business. So now, as I told you, that you have to formalize a business structure. You have to decide what type of a business organization you are going to be. So basically, there are 5 types of businesses. First is sole proprietorship. Second is partnership. Next is private limited, public limited, and limited liability partnership, that is LLP. Of course, I won't be going in detail with the last 3 because these 3 are on a larger scale. I would be dealing only with the first 2, sole proprietorship and partnership. So sole proprietorship means single owner. Okay, and it's always better to get yourself registered with the concerned authority. Now, if you say, I don't want to get registered, अगर आपको register नहीं होना है, not an issue. Then what will happen if you do not get registered? Your business is going to be an unincorporated business with only one owner. Sole proprietorship, right? So legally, there is no distinction between you and your business. Suppose I am setting up a business, so Shilpa and Shilpa's business are one and the same. So whatever my earnings would be, whatever income I would be earning, it would go into my savings account, and I will have to pay personal income tax on whatever profits I would be earning. And if you don't get registered, that means when there is no legal distinction between you and your business, so you and your business is the same, so you cannot avail any of the benefits except the basic employee benefits like under section 80C or 80D. Okay, but if you get yourself registered, then what happens? Again, you are still a single owner, but now you get a current account for your business. So all your business transactions are recorded in the current account. And even while paying tax, you can show your expense of business and you can get tax rebate. So and I'll come to later part why registration of your business is important, what all benefits you get if you get yourself registered. Okay. Next comes partnership. Partnership is basically a business which has got 2 or more founders. And in this case also, registration is optional. If you want to register your business, you can register it. If you don't want to register, you don't register it. And here you have to register your firm with the registrar of companies. Same is the case with proprietorship. And in this case, the partnership profits are taxed as per the slabs provided under the Income Tax Act 1961 plus surcharge and the cess, whatever is applicable at that point of time. Now, whenever you are forming any partnership, then it is always advisable to draft a partnership agreement. क्या होता है, initially तो हम business start कर लेते हैं कि चलो ठीक है, हम we are 2 friends and हम लोगों ने business start कर लिया. But later on, as you will grow, you will realize very small things which might crop up and you will think कि इसको कैसे decide करें, इसका कैसे करेंगे. तो देन ऑल दीज थिंग्स कम्स इनटू प्ले और फिर हमने इतना देखा सुना है कि वो पार्टनरशिप जो है ब्रेक हो गई या कुछ और उसमें प्रॉब्लम्स हो गई. तो इसीलिए इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर टू ड्राफ्ट अ पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट. नाउ व्हाट इज अ पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट? अ पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट gives you, or rather, basically it sorts of outlines everything, all the details like roles and responsibilities of the partners, executive remuneration, operational details, division of profit and loss, that means how the profit and loss would be divided among the partners, the authority of each and every partner in terms of decision making, percentage of ownership, any contingency plan also you have to mention in that, so that in case there is any dispute, you can always refer to that contingency plan. Then exit clauses. If any partner wants to leave it, okay, then what would be the scene at that time, okay? So all these details, they must be decided and agreed upon by all the partners who are a part of the business. Now, whenever we talk about agreement, it becomes a sort of contract. And all the contracts in India are governed by Indian Contract Act 1857. I will come to that later, but before that, I'll come to private limited company and LLP. The private limited company is regulated by Companies Act 2013 and LLP is regulated by LLP Act 2008 and contractual agreement between parties. Now, in these cases, registration is mandatory. In those 2 cases, that means partnership and sole proprietorship, registration was optional. But in this case, firm registration is mandatory and you have to register yourself with Registrar of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that is MCA. And in this case, after your registration, when you will open up a bank account, you will get a corporate account. And whatever corporate tax policies are there, those policies will be applicable. Now, all these, when you are dealing with the, as per the Indian Contract Act 1872, all agreements are contracts if they are made by the free consent of parties competent to contract for a lawful consideration with a lawful object and are not expressly declared to be void. This is the definition of contract as per Indian Contract Act. तो हम जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, चाहे वो हमारा पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट हो या हम अपने सप्लायर्स से, अपने वेंडर्स से या अपने किसी से भी अगर हम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं, तो इट कम्स अंडर इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट 1872 एंड it is legally binding to all the concerned parties. So contract is basically the crux of any business. Okay, so now you have decided what type of a company it is going to be. So the next step is deciding on the name of the company. So you have to check the name of the availability of the company name, whether whatever you are proposing is available or not. And this you can check online on MCA website. Whatever your proposal it, you submit it, and if it is available, they are going to allow it, they are going to approve it, and then you can give a name to your company and secure it. And as far as the companies are concerned, you have to fill INC 29 form, which will give you incorporation certificate. जैसे अगर आप लोग कभी अकाउंट अपना खोलना चाहें, मेल अकाउंट, राइट, सो यू प्रपोज समथिंग कि I want to name my mail ID like this, then what happens is that search engine, that website, it tells you whether it is available or not. And if it is not available, it offers you or it suggests you various options. Okay, so in the same way, you cannot have the same name any other company is having. You cannot say that I was not aware of anything. Although हम लोग कहते हैं ना, ignorance is bliss, but in your business, ignorance is not bliss. So whenever you are planning to set up your business, you have to be aware of each and everything. So you have decided upon the name of the company. Fine. Next comes registration of business. You have to register your business with the official registrar along with all the relevant information. आप वहाँ जाएंगे जब रजिस्ट्रार ऑफिस, तो जैसे हम अपने आधार कार्ड के लिए या वोटर आईडी के लिए या पासपोर्ट के लिए, either you go there or you do it online, isn't it? So same is the case with all these registrations or licensing, which I would be talking about. If you are doing it online, you have to upload the documents. अगर आप खुद जाकर सबमिट कर रहे हैं फिजिकली, तो आपको आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स की कॉपी वहां पर जाकर सबमिट करनी है. All those documents would be verified and then they would be approved, and then only the certificate or license, whatever it is, would be granted to you. Okay, so you have to register your business. After your registration of business, you have to apply for various business licenses. Now, business licenses are basically the legal documents which allow any business to operate. And depending on the size and nature of your business, several licenses are applicable. So you have to know what licenses are applicable for your startup and you have to obtain them. But there is one common license which is applicable to all the business premises where any trade, business or profession is carried out, and that is obtaining a certificate under the Shop and Establishment Act. And this you have to obtain within 30 days from the commencement of your business, whether you have got any employees or not. Okay. And then there are various other licenses which vary from industry to industry. So this is something which is very important, which you have to take care of within 30 days from the commencement of your business. Then you have to obtain a digital signature certificate. This is basically an identity of any business. Again, after getting approved by the ministry, it is issued and you can use this DSC for your online transactions, for filing your annual returns, income tax e-filing, e-tenders, all these things. आजकल वैसी सारी चीजें ऑनलाइन हो गई हैं, तो इसीलिए आजकल ये डिजिटल सिग्नेचर सर्टिफिकेट भी वैलिड हो गया है. Then you have to open a current account for your day-to-day business transactions. It is always advisable to open your bank account near to your business place. Why? Because it will save a lot of time in commuting. So you open a current account. Then you have to acquire PAN for your business. जो इंडिविजुअल पैन होता है वो अलग होता है और बिजनेस के लिए पैन नंबर अलग होता है. ओके. देन comes professional tax registration. This is mandatory for all types of businesses, and you have to register for it for within 30 days of employing staff in your business. Next comes VAT and CST. CST is applicable when you are doing business between states, okay, and this is needed the moment your annual turnover crosses 5 lakhs, and service tax is required the moment your annual sales turnover crosses 10 lakhs. So you have to be aware of all these things कि कब VAT होना है, कब मेरा service tax लेना है, कब क्या चीजें होनी है. You cannot say I was not aware of all these things. Then comes something very important, GST registration. जब छोटा business होता है तो it is not very important, but the moment your business turnover crosses 40 lakhs per annum, you have to get a GST registration number. Initially the limit was 20 lakhs, but अब government ने इसको 40 lakhs कर दिया है. तो GST registration, the moment your turnover crosses 40 lakhs per annum. Then comes NOC from Pollution Control Board. After the enactment of National Tribunal Act 2010, which covers all the environmental laws and increasing awareness about pollution, all these laws have become very stringent. So you check whether your business requires NOC from Pollution Control Board. If it requires, then what type of permission is needed? Basically, there are 3 types of permission: red, orange, and green. So as per the requirement of your business, you get NOC from Pollution Control Board. MSME Udyog Aadhaar registration. Government of India is trying so much to simplify the registration process so that the young entrepreneurs who want to do business, they don't get involved in all these things कि इस ऑफिस से उस ऑफिस जा रहे हैं, इन सब चक्करों में पड़ रहे हैं. तो to ease the act of doing business and to simplify all these processes, एक उद्योग आधार मेमोरेंडम जो है, ये एक इनिशिएटिव है MSME, दैट इज माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ गवर्नमेंट का, जिसमें यू गेट अ उद्योग आधार registration. If you want, you can get this also, because ये आपको आगे जाके बहुत सारी एडवांटेजेस देगा. इनका एक अलग मेंटोरशिप होता है और आपको कई तरह से अगर गाइडेंस चाहिए होती है तो दे गिव यू, दे प्रोवाइड हेल्प टू यू. सो यू नो, you can always register yourself and get this Udyog Aadhaar registration for yourself. Next comes FSSAI registration. Now this is mandatory for all food startups. Okay, आपने देखा होगा ना, हर फूड आर्टिकल के ऊपर एक FSSAI का वो होता है सिंबल. तो this includes all bakeries, restaurants, food franchisee outlets, canteens, cafeterias, and even small kitchens. You have to have this FSSAI registration. Then EGMA. If you are planning to produce any agricultural products, then you have to get this EGMA certification from Directorate of Marketing and Inspection, which is a certifying agency of Government of India. And once you get this, it means you are conforming to the set standards set by the Government of India. So if you are manufacturing, if you're planning to manufacture any agricultural products, you have to apply for EGMA. Intellectual property registration. This is again very important to protect your company or your product brand name. And by getting this done, you can also protect any of your innovative product from being duplicated. And this intellectual property rights, like your trademarks, patents, all these are controlled by Controller General of Patents, designs and trademarks. So basically, I am giving you an idea of all the legalities which you have to take care when you are planning to set up your business. आपको कहीं भी कुछ भी चीज छोड़नी नहीं है कि हमें तो मालूम ही नहीं था, okay? Then you have to register with Employees Provident Fund if you are employing 20 or more persons. Now comes employment agreement. जब हम एक business start करते हैं तो we hire people and then we just hire and we don't think on these lines कि इनसे भी हमें कुछ agreement करना चाहिए. But it is always better to have an employment agreement, and this, the moment you hear the word agreement, it means it's a contract, and the moment it's a contract, it means it is legally binding on all the parties and it comes under Indian Contract Act. And it means if there is any breach of contract, you can always sue. Fine. So employment agreement is a contract between the employer and the employee. Now this again basically gives you the outline of all the terms of employment, including your job duties, your designation, your work hours, salary, benefits, annual leave, confidentiality. कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो कॉन्फिडेंशियल होती है, तो उसके लिए भी हम इसको साइन करा सकते हैं कि ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन है ये इस ऑफिस के बाहर नहीं जानी चाहिए, एंड वेरियस टर्म्स डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर बिजनेस. सो दिस एम्प्लॉयमेंट एग्रीमेंट इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Non-disclosure agreement NDA. जब आप अपना बिजनेस करते हैं, so you deal with many people, okay? आपके वेंडर्स से आप डील करते हो, इन्वेस्टर्स से डील करते हो, आपके कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स होते हैं, एंड यू शेयर your sensitive business information like your pricing, your trade secrets, details about your proprietary software, even your customer lists. They are all a part of the negotiation. So the moment you sign this NDA, this basically is a contract between the parties that they are not going to disclose any information covered by the agreement. So this again is confidential relationship, and this protects your information, your trade secrets, and the parties have to sign the document that they are not going to disclose any information. और अगर वो करते हैं इसका misuse, तो then it is a breach of contract and you can always sue them. So it is always for your benefit. ठीक है, ताकि आपका जो भी सीक्रेट है, आपकी जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन है, वो आपके कॉम्पिटिटर के पास नहीं जाए. तो ये नॉन डिस्क्लोजर एग्रीमेंट, पहले इसकी लोग इतनी इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं समझते थे, बट आजकल ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट हो गया है. सो यू ऑल्सो टेक केयर ऑफ दिस. Besides whatever I have told you, for LPP and private limited companies, there are a few additional things which they have to take care of. The first one is they have to
Ma'am, there is a question from Namita.
Ma'am, can I deal with the questions later?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You have to get director identification number, and this is a unique 8-digit number for any existing or proposed director of the company. Then if you're a company, you have to create a company seal also, and for companies, they have to acquire a TAN, that is tax account number also. They have to draw a memorandum of association and articles of association, which they have to get it stamped from superintendent of stamps. And for public companies, they have to get a certificate of commencement of business also. Okay. Now, ये सब तो हमने कर लिया. One quick thing, if you want to wind up your business, okay, because if you want to shut down, then everyone, right from your vendors to your employees, your customers, your investors, you have to inform them well in advance, and even the process must be properly planned. So legally, there are 3 ways of shutting down any business. First is the fast track exit mode. Second is the court or tribunal route, and third is the voluntary closure. For startups, fast track exit mode is generally suitable. because it fastens the shutdown process, and cost wise also it is very lower. So basically for this fast track exit mode, the company should not have any assets or liabilities, and they should not have had any business operation for the past 1 year. Okay, and if these two conditions are met, you apply for winding up of the business, और अगर आपकी दोनों conditions fulfill होती है, then the company would be struck off from the registrar of the companies. Okay, and whatever certificates you have got, you surrender all those certificates, you close your current account, and your business is closed. Okay. Now, compliances under labor law. If you are registered under Startup India process, just a second, I'll first tell you these two programs, which are the initiative of Government of India. The first one is Make in India program, which was launched in 2014, and the second one is the Startup India scheme, which was launched in 2016. These programs, these two they are managed by Department for Industrial Policy and Promotion, DPIIT. So, and of course, to get yourself registered under this Startup India scheme, there are 5 conditions. So if you fulfill these conditions, then you are registered under this scheme. Now, let me talk about compliance under labor law. Okay. Now, labor law basically, it deals with many laws like Minimum Wages Acts, Workmen Compensation Act, Industrial Dispute Act, and now provision of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act, which is generally overlooked, but nowadays importance is paid on this act also. So if you are registered under Startup India scheme, then you are exempted under 9 labor laws and 3 environmental laws. Okay. And next comes your environmental law, compliance under Companies Act 2013. If you are a startup or if you are a company who has formed the company under Companies Act 2013, so besides all those things which I have told you, you have to take care of how the board meetings and annual general meetings would be conducted, appointment of auditors, appointment of directors, and whatever provisions are provided under the Companies Act 2013, you have to comply with those compliances. Compliance under Income Tax Act 1961. All the businesses, each and every business has to pay income tax. Of course, it comes under various heads. Government of India has decided various timelines before which you have to file your income tax returns. So you have to take care of these also, and always see to it that you maintain all the documents and file your returns timely. Don't wait for the last date. अपना proper एक documentation रखिए और timely file कीजिए. Don't wait for the last date या ये सोच के कि date तो extend होगी तो कर लेंगे. It is always better, play on the safer side. Then compliance under GST, which I have already told you, the moment your turnover crosses 40 lakhs, you have to have this GST number. Let me tell you about the Startup India initiative, which I was telling you that if you are registered under Startup India initiative, so you can submit a self-declaration form for 9 labor laws and 3 environmental laws within 1 year from the date of your incorporation, and you will get an exemption from labor inspection. मतलब कोई आपके यहाँ इंस्पेक्शन के लिए नहीं आएगा, और उसके बाद में even for the second and third year you can file a self-certified return if you want to continue with the exemption. But then that doesn't mean that you don't follow any of the labor laws. Okay, because अगर आपके against किसी ने complaint कर दी तो आपके यहाँ inspection होगा. जैसे कि चाइल्ड लेबर नहीं करना है, हमें मालूम है, एंड बट इफ यू एम्प्लॉय चाइल्ड ऑफ 10 years और किसी ने आपकी कंप्लेंट कर दी, तो यू कैन नॉट say अच्छा मुझे तो मालूम ही नहीं था. So you have to be aware of the laws. Okay, so this is what I am insisting, that you have to be aware of basic laws and regulations. Then again, if you are registered under the Startup India initiative, you are exempted from paying income tax for 3 consecutive financial years out of first 10 years of your incorporation. But this is applicable only if you have set up your business after 2016. Then even you can claim a rebate of 80% of your patent fees. And then there are other benefits also, like you can get help from Scheme for Startups, Intellectual Property Protection, SIP. They mentor and they help a lot. Okay, so it is always better that you register yourself under this scheme. Of course, I am not supposed to discuss all these in details. I would be talking about something which is, I will continue to talk about the legal compliances, but this was just to give you all a fair idea. Now I'll talk about e-commerce. आजकल तो सभी चीजें एकदम ऑनलाइन हो गई हैं, तो ई कॉमर्स जो बिजनेस है वो इतना ज्यादा हो गया है कि सभी बिजनेस करने लगे हैं. एंड when you talk about e-commerce business, then what happens? Your website is your virtual front. All your details about your products, your office, everything, it is displayed there on the website. So the website becomes your catalog. Okay, अब जो हमारा फिजिकल स्टोर है उसमें तो चलो एक लिमिटेशन हो जाती है कि 10 to 8 o'clock हमारा शॉप ओपन है, उसके बाद में क्लोज्ड है. लेकिन ई कॉमर्स बिजनेस में तो क्या है, anyone can access from anywhere at any point of time. Okay, so you have to protect yourself from the risk which arise from e-commerce businesses also. There are 4 models of doing e-commerce business. B2B model, that is business to business. B2C model, that is business to customer. C2C, customer to customer. C2B, customer to business. But I would be dealing only with B2C, that is business to customer. So what is B2C model? You as a business are selling your product or services to the customer. Okay. Now, legal compliances for e-commerce business. Again, the first step is company incorporation, and here you have to register the domain name of the company. Same चीज जो हमने वहां पर भी की, वही हमें यहाँ पर भी करनी है. Again, opening up of bank account and payment gateway. Payment gateway क्या होता है? It helps you in getting a safe and secure payment. एक पेमेंट गेटवे जो there are various agencies which collect the money from the customer on your behalf and then they put it in your bank account. Okay, so if you want to have this payment gateway facility, you have to get yourself registered. Okay, so and for this payment gateway it is necessary to open your bank account. नहीं तो वो पैसा कस्टमर से लेके किधर देगा? अर्लियर अगर आपको ध्यान होगा, जब इनिशियली इन्फेंट स्टेज पर था ई कॉमर्स बिजनेस, तो अगर आपने कभी अमेजॉन या फ्लिपकार्ट या स्नैपडील वगैरह से शॉपिंग की होगी तो आपने 2 ही जनरली ऑप्शंस देखे होंगे, एक सीओडी कैश ऑन डिलीवरी या नेट बैंकिंग जो आपका वीजा है, मास्टर कार्ड है, ये सारी चीजें. बट विद द एडवेंट या विद द इंक्रीज ऑफ ई कॉमर्स बिजनेस, these intermediaries have come into play. So if you do not register, now again, why I am stressing on registering? अगर आपको नहीं register करना है as a company, it's okay. But अगर आपने नहीं register किया तो उसकी क्या problems हो सकती हैं? एक उसके बाद लेकिन उससे पहले let me just tell you, एक GST registration you have to get it done. Now this is mandatory. Okay. VAT and sales tax registration, basically जो हमने उधर करे थे एक business के लिए, वो same things are applicable here also. Documentation, whatever you are doing उस सबका documentation. Choosing an e-commerce platform, आप अपनी own selling करोगे या कोई existing market portal करोगे, like Amazon है, Flipkart है, ये सारी चीजें. और उसके बाद shipping service integration. Okay, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू टाई अप विद द लॉजिस्टिक कंपनीज फॉर डिलीवरी। जैसे आपका टाई अप है सपोज ब्लू डार्ट से या किसी से, आप किस तरह से अपना टाई अप करोगे। आपने यहां तक तो कर लिया कि मुझे बिजनेस इस तरह से करना है, मैंने सारा टाई अप कर लिया किस तरह से मेरा जो प्रोडक्ट है उसकी डिलीवरी होगी। बट अब अगर हमने रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं कराया तो आपको बहुत लिमिटेड ऑप्शंस मिलते हैं पेमेंट गेटवे के, क्योंकि जो ये पेमेंट गेटवेज है लाइक इंस्टामोजो, पेपैल, रेजर पे, दे ऑफर देयर सर्विसेज ओनली टू रजिस्टर्ड कंपनीज। अगर आपकी कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है तो आप इनके थ्रू पेमेंट नहीं कर सकते हो। ऑफ कोर्स कुछ एक है लाइक पेयू which offers the payment gateway services to the companies which are not registered, but then they charge transaction charges, okay? but वो आपके options बहुत ही limited हो जाते हैं। अब आगे अगर आप कभी online shopping करो ना तो you just see कि कितने options आपके पास आते हैं, तो then you will understand कि क्यों registration जरूरी है। उसके बाद अगर आप इंटरनेशनल शिपिंग करना चाहते हो, ठीक है, या इफ यू वांट टू यूज अ थर्ड पार्टी लॉजिस्टिक कंपनी, जैसे मेरा बिजनेस है, मैंने इसको बोला और इसने किसी और को दिया, उसकी वो जाके कस्टमर को दे, जैसे शिप रॉकेट है, वो थर्ड पार्टी लॉजिस्टिक कंपनी है। तो अगर आपका बिजनेस रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है तो यू आर गोइंग टू फेस प्रॉब्लम्स। And then next comes sales tax issue. If you are not registered, then you will not be able to charge sales tax from the customers for your products. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि आपका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कम हो रहा है, राइट? तो अगर आपने नहीं रजिस्टर किया तो ये बेसिक 3 जो प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं वो फेस करनी होती हैं, और आगे जाके भी कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ अगर होगा तो इफ यू आर नॉट रजिस्टर्ड तो मुश्किल हो जाती है। तो दैट इज व्हाई इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर टू गेट योरसेल्फ रजिस्टर्ड, ओके? देन कम्स प्राइवेसी पॉलिसी। जब आप बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, व्हेन यू आर डूइंग अ बिजनेस, देन यू आर अ वेबसाइट, ओके? सो यू आर कलेक्टिंग द डेटा ऑफ द कस्टमर्स। आपके पास कस्टमर का नेम, उसका मेल आईडी, फोन नंबर, एड्रेस, ये सारे डिटेल्स होते हैं। इसीलिए इट इज important for you as a business, if you are doing an e-commerce business, that you specify privacy policy ki how you are going to collect the data, how you are going to handle it, and it has to be clearly mentioned how you are going to use it, how you are going to use that data, okay? आप किनके साथ वो इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करोगे, कैसे उस इंफॉर्मेशन को स्टोर करोगे, या आप कहीं उसको थर्ड पार्टी को सेल तो नहीं कर दोगे, तो ये सारी आपको प्राइवेसी पॉलिसी में बताना होगा। अभी तक ऑफ कोर्स यू नो हम अदर एंड पे होते थे, कस्टमर होते थे, तो आपने कभी इसके ऊपर इतना गौर नहीं किया होगा, यू माइट नॉट हैव noticed all these things, but from now onwards you just take a look before you go for any online shopping. And if you want to start your e-commerce business, then you have to take care of this. This is something which is very important because you have all the data of the customers, so you have to take care of it. You cannot leak it. अभी आपने देखा होगा ना, आए दिन फेसबुक जो है कि डेटा लीक कर दिया, ये सारी चीजें हो गई, फिर उनके ऊपर केस कर दिया, तो ये सब चीजें होती रहती हैं। टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस, यू हैव टू मेंशन योर टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस, आप किस तरह से क्या चीज करेंगे, ओके? वारंटी पॉलिसी, आपका प्रोडक्ट है, उस प्रोडक्ट की क्या वारंटी है, whatever, you know, depending on your business, you have to specify and mention each and everything. Returns and refunds policy, अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट है तो हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू टेक इट बैक, या उसकी क्या रिफंड पॉलिसी है, ओके? यू हैव टू मेंशन इट। लाइक देयर आर सम प्रोडक्ट्स विच आर नॉन रिटर्नेबल, जैसे कि कॉस्मेटिक्स है, कभी अगर आपने कुछ खरीदा हो, जैसे लिपस्टिक खरीदा हो या एक लेट्स से आईलाइनर खरीदा हो, तो आपने देखा होगा उसमें स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन होता है कि नॉट रिटर्नेबल, ओके? तो अगर आप खरीद रहे हो तो बस जैसा आ गया वो वैसा ही आएगा, तो आप उसको रिटर्न नहीं कर सकते, ओके? और फिर जो कस्टमर है उसका तो पैसा भी गया और वो प्रोडक्ट भी खराब आया। लेकिन अगर आप अब कस्टमर आपको अस्यूम नहीं कर सकता कि भाई इसने मेरा पैसा रिटर्न नहीं किया या इसने मुझे खराब प्रोडक्ट दे दिया या टूटा प्रोडक्ट दे दिया, क्योंकि ही वाज अवेयर कि उसने ये पढ़कर ही आपका प्रोडक्ट खरीदा है, ठीक है। अगर उसने नहीं पढ़ा तो ये कस्टमर की इग्नोरेंस है, ओके। सो यू आर ऑन द सेफर साइड, ओके। सो यू हैव टू मेंशन दिस रिटर्न्स एंड रिफंड्स पॉलिसी वेरी क्लियरली, okay। So ये सारी चीजें, if you are planning to set up your e-commerce business, you have to take care of all these things। अब जब इतना ज्यादा ई-कॉमर्स बिजनेस हो गया तो गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत सारे लॉज भी इंडिया में अप्लाई कर दिए टू सेफगार्ड द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ बोथ द बिजनेसमैन, दैट इज एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, and the customers, okay। The first act which was enacted was the Information Technology Act 2000 along with Indian Contract Act 1857। जहां पर भी हम एग्रीमेंट या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बात करते हैं, मैंने आपको बताया इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट आता है। तो जो ये इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट है, this gives legal recognition to all the transactions which are carried out by means of electronic communication, okay। The terms of service, privacy policy, return policies of any online platform are to be laid out such that they are legally binding agreement, which I was just telling you. You have to mention each and everything clearly, and they are legally bound, okay। And this facilitates electronic filing of documents with government agencies also, and it allows you to use digital signature। अब हमारे यहाँ तो क्या कहीं ना कहीं हम खुद ही लूप होल और सब कर ही लेते हैं, तो उसके बाद में व्हेन गवर्नमेंट रियलाइज कि इसमें अभी भी थोड़े से लूप होल्स हैं और हम इसको थोड़ा सा अमेंड कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा सा और बेटर कर सकते हैं, 2008 में गवर्नमेंट ने लाया इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट अमेंडमेंट, ओके। इसमें दे इंट्रोड्यूस द प्रोविजंस रिगार्डिंग वैलिडिटी ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, सिक्योरिटी ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सिग्नेचर्स, punishments for computer related offenses, violation of privacy, publishing and transmission of obscene material in electronic form। अभी जो violation of privacy, okay, आपने डेटा ले तो लिया, अब आपने उसको किसी थर्ड पार्टी को सेल कर दिया किसी भी चीज के लिए या किसी और पर्पस के लिए, तो now here you are violating the privacy of the customer। तो इसीलिए ये इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट अमेंडमेंट जो है ये इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया। उसके बाद अब जब इतने सब ट्रांजैक्शंस और सब होने लगे तो बीच में इंटरमीडियरीज भी आ गए। इंटरमीडियरीज क्या होते हैं? जो बीच में जो थर्ड पार्टी होते हैं, तो अब उनका भी इंटरेस्ट गवर्नमेंट को प्रोटेक्ट करना था, ओके। तब आया द इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरमीडियरीज गाइडलाइन रूल्स 2011, द आईटी इंटरमीडियरी रूल्स। ये किस लिए आया? To protect the service providers with respect to the third party data, internet service providers, payment intermediaries, इन सब को भी तो प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे। जब हम ई कॉमर्स की बात करेंगे तो हम सिर्फ एंटरप्रेन्योर और कस्टमर की बात ही नहीं करेंगे, हम सारे सिस्टम की बात करेंगे। तो यू नो वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन हु इज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दैट सर्किल। देन कंटेंट रेगुलेशन, whatever content you are putting on your website, it should not be objectionable under any laws। अब ये तो बहुत ही वास्ट होता है, तो आपको अवेयर होना चाहिए कि जो हम डाल रहे हैं वो जो है कुछ भी ऑब्जेक्शनेबल तो नहीं है, और स्पेशली इंडियन पिनल कोड के अंदर ऑब्जेक्शनेबल नहीं है, या इंडिसेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वुमेन प्रोहिबिशन एक्ट के अंदर तो नहीं है, जो किसी को डिफेम नहीं करे, कुछ ऑब्सीन नहीं हो। तो ये सारी जो चीजें हैं ये हमको देखनी है कि हम जो कंटेंट डाल रहे हैं वो सारा जो है किसी को डिफेम नहीं करे और कुछ भी उसमें ऑब्जेक्शनेबल नहीं हो। आप इसमें नहीं ये कह सकते कि मुझे तो मालूम नहीं था। आपने देखा होगा कितना हर कभी न्यूज में आता रहता है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल कि सरस्वती की वो लगा दी उन्होंने या कुछ और कर दिया इस टाइप से, और उसके ऊपर जो है इतना हो जाता है कि इन्होंने हमारे सेंटिमेंट्स को हर्ट कर दिया और उसके अगेंस्ट ये सारी चीजें हो जाती हैं। तो आप इन सब में नहीं पढ़ना है हमें, यू नो, व्हाटएवर यू आर पुटिंग अप इन योर वेबसाइट, सो यू ऑलवेज, आई ऑलवेज एडवाइज to play on the safer side, don't get involved in all these legal hassles. Then जो ये पेमेंट हम लोग करते हैं, तो उसके लिए भी 2007 में गवर्नमेंट ने पेमेंट के लिए भी एक एक्ट बनाया, पेमेंट रेगुलेशन एक्ट 2007, टू सेफगार्ड द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ जो भी सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं. ओके, सो and very quickly I think if we have time, I'll just share something with you regarding this e-commerce which I had faced recently. How people or how customers can come after you. I had recently bought a jacket from Amazon. Okay, so I didn't like it and I returned it. So when I returned it, I even remember the date. I returned it on 31st of January. Okay, until 3rd, and when it asked, उसमें वही था कि आपका रिफंड हो जाएगा, तो मैंने उसमें क्लिक कर दिया कि मेरे Amazon पे बैलेंस में वो बैलेंस डाल देना है. अब 3rd of February तक वो उसमें डिस्प्ले कर रहा था कि येट टू बी कलेक्टेड या कलेक्शन के लिए आना है. मैंने 2-4 दिन और वेट किया तो 1 वीक निकल गया, तब तक कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. देन आई कॉल्ड अप द हेल्पलाइन ऑफ Amazon कि ये तो मेरे यहाँ से प्रोडक्ट ले जा चुका है और आपका यहाँ ये शो कर रहा है. तो उसने कहा कि हमारे इसमें ये दिखा रहा है कि उनको आपका प्रोडक्ट मिल गया एंड दे हैव इशूड अ चेक टू यू आपके रिफंड का. सो आई सेड चेक कैसे इशू कर दिया, मैंने तो चेक के लिए कहा ही नहीं. Why would I as a customer want to give my details या चेक का क्या है. तो मैंने तो उसमें क्लियरली मेंशन किया था कि मुझे Amazon पे बैलेंस में ही चाहिए, ताकि जब भी मुझे जरूरत हो आई यूज इट. कि नहीं मैडम वो तो आपके चेक आएगा और आएगा, इट विल टेक 9 days, फिर जब मैं उसको क्लियरिंग में डालूंगी तब अनदर 3 days. तो ऐसे करके पूरा फरवरी मेरा चला जाता. तो मैंने उनसे और फिर मैंने कहा कि वो बाउंस तो नहीं होगा कि नहीं. अब एक ये भी चक्कर रहता ना कि चेक बाउंस तो नहीं हो जाएगा. एग्जैक्टली आफ्टर 9 days आई रिसीव्ड अ चेक ऑफ डॉइश बैंक. उसको मैंने करा, 4 days इट टुक इन क्लियरिंग, तो वो मेरा पूरा 1 महीना निकल गया. ओके, और मैंने जब उन्होंने चेक दिया तब आई वाज आफ्टर दैट पर्सन कि आप मुझे दो कि मैं इसकी कंप्लेंट फाइल करना चाहती हूँ. कि मेरे कहने के बाद भी when I had clearly mentioned कि I want it to be refunded in my Amazon Pay balance, how come you have issued a check to me? Okay, तो और अच्छा चेक भी ये आप नोट कीजिए, जो चेक जो इशू होता है जिस कस्टमर ने खरीदा वो उसको चेक इशू होता है. अब अगर आपने अपने किसी फ्रेंड के अकाउंट से करा है या आपने किसी अपने बच्चे के अकाउंट से अगर नाम से वो चीज मंगवाई है और उसका तो अकाउंट ही नहीं है, तो आपके तो वो पैसे गए और बेसिकली जो कस्टमर है वो घूमता रहेगा. तो आजकल कस्टमर भी बहुत अवेयर हो गया है, तो उस अवेयरनेस के अंडर ही मैं उसके पीछे लगी. मैंने उसको कहा कि अगर ये मेरा चेक बाउंस होता है तो आई विल फाइल अ कंप्लेंट अगेंस्ट यू एंड आई विल फाइल अ कंप्लेंट अगेंस्ट दैट कंपनी फॉर इतना डिले एंड फॉर हैरेसमेंट, मेंटल हैरेसमेंट. कि मेरे को जो काम 2 दिन में हो जाना चाहिए था, आपके पास वो प्रोडक्ट आया, आप इमीडिएटली मेरा पैसा Amazon पे बैलेंस में डालो, जिसका मुझे पूरा फरवरी पूरा 1 महीना आपने हैरेस किया. क्योंकि एवरी नाउ एंड देन आई वाज चेकिंग कि भाई चेक आया या नहीं आया. सो ये तो चलो ठीक है, वो चेक आ गया, नहीं तो अदरवाइज अगर नहीं होता तो आई वुड हैव डेफिनेटली फाइल्ड अ कंप्लेंट अगेंस्ट दैट कंपनी. ओके, तो फिर वो लीगल हैसल में इन्वॉल्व हो जाते. सो यू हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ व्हाटएवर is asked to you, you stick to that. अपने आप आपको नहीं करना है. So these are very small things which you have to take care when you are doing e-commerce business. अगर यही चीज किसी शॉप पे होती तो हम जाते, रिटर्न करते या एक्सचेंज करते, या अगर वो कहता आपका पैसे वापस दे देगा तो वो बात वहीं खत्म हो जाती. लेकिन यहाँ पर क्योंकि इतना लंबा प्रोसेस हो गया है, तो आजकल तो आपने अगर जैसे ही कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के अंडर अगर आपने कंप्लेंट कर दी तो आपको उसका कॉम्पनसेशन मिलता ही है, चाहे थोड़ा टाइम लगता है लेकिन मिलता है. लेकिन अगर हम बिजनेस या एंटरप्रेन्योर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें तो इट इन्वॉल्व्स अननेसेसरी लीगल हैसल्स. सो डोंट गेट योरसेल्फ इन्वॉल्व्ड इन ऑल दीज थिंग्स. Okay, stick to all the rules and regulations and do your or flourish. Okay, and with this I would like to end my session with the hope that whatever I have told you, may you all have to fulfill all these regulations कि आपका इतनी sales हो 40 लाख के above कि आपको GST फाइल करना पड़े, आपकी इतनी sales हो कि आपको VAT भी करना पड़े, तो आपका business grow हो and you grow and flourish and take care of all the rules and regulations. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Shinu, you are muted. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I was just saying thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am, for elaborating and talking about all the legal aspects so beautifully. Namita, you had a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Actually, I had a question about this NDA document.
Yes.
Is it okay if you share this information on email, or it has to be done on the stamp paper only? Like, if I share the conditions on the mail and the person who is working for me sign it saying that I agree to it, is it valid or it has to be done?
Valid. It is valid. It is valid.
Email is valid.
Valid and properly duly signed and attested. Okay. But then it depends what type of information you are getting signed. Okay. But it is always better to safeguard that you get it on a stamp paper. The moment it is on a stamp paper, it is stamped, तो एक वो legal document बन जाता है, isn't it?
Stamp of at least 100 rupees.
It depends, you will have to consult the lawyer or anyone, because 50 rupees का भी कुछ चीजों में चलता है, कुछ में 100 का भी चलता है.
Okay, and I have one more question, ma'am. I don't know if that is out of
100. For business purpose, it is minimum 100 rupees.
100 rupees.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I had another question. I mean, if that falls in the scope of this session, I just wanted to know if you we are creating a mascot animated character which will work like marketing mascot for the company. So where should that be registered under IPR, like trademark or patent or design patent, or like where should it go?
Sorry, what are you doing? You are
she's talking about registering a mascot.
Okay.
Like say for example for McDonald's you have that Ronald with
okay. No, so see, this is going to be unique.
Yes.
Isn't it? So this is your mascot. So controller of this patent and
yeah, sure. Or like you should register a trademark, or it will go under
trademark.
Trademark, yes. And because this is your trademark, isn't it? Your business identity.
Okay. Okay, and one more thing I wanted to know is this GST and VAT registration. It will go step by step. Like if my turnover is 5 lakh rupees per annum, I have to go with VAT only. I cannot directly go and register GST.
No. GST is 40 lakhs. Above 40 lakhs. Okay, and one more thing, you can do all these things online. Okay.
Okay.
You can file.
So no point registering before a point, because then you are incurring a cost, right? We talked about it in the last class that minimum 24,000 are your expenses if you are registering for all these. So there's no point spending that money, right?
Exactly.
Until you have a certain amount of business, it makes sense.
अगर 40 लाख का बिजनेस ही नहीं है तो सारी इतनी फीस और ये सब क्यों देना, isn't it? So you have to go step by step. जैसे जैसे you are growing, so जो भी आपका कैटेगरी आता है, so accordingly you file all those things. You get the registration. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else has any other question? All right. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am. It was really enlightening, and you covered all the aspects pretty well.
Yeah. Thank you. One question regarding the EPF.
Sure, ma'am. Please go ahead.
You are saying you need to register for EPF when you have 20 employees. More than 20? You have to
EPF, ma'am. She's talking about EPF registration.
have to register for employee provident fund, you are saying.
Hmm.
That is after 20 employees, more than 20.
More than 20, yes.
You have to register more
Register
than
for,
20.
yes.
Just not up at 20. It is
No.
more than 20.
More
And
than
then
20.
what you have to register and then pay. Before that, you don't have to pay.
No.
You have to register only. And then you have
See, after that, they will give you the guidelines which you have to follow. Okay.
okay.
So see, whenever you go for any registration, you file the documents and everything, then they give you the guidelines which you have to follow. Okay.
So is it for permanent employees or this is for contract basis employees also? Because nowadays there are contract based employees. You need them, you call them. You don't need them, you don't call them.
No, it's not for contract.
It is for the permanent employees.
Permanent employees, yes. जैसे आपने गवर्नमेंट में भी देखा होगा ना, अब कुछ सैलरी का पोर्शन पीएफ अकाउंट में प्रोविडेंट फंड में भी जाता है, तो इट्स ऑल फॉर द परमानेंट एम्प्लॉयज.
So suppose your employee is working, suppose in my service there are employees who are coming working, sometimes they are working for some days.
Ma'am, EPFS was for permanent employees, not for contractual employees.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is my question.
Yeah.
Important thing to know.
Yes, it is for permanent employees, which is on rolls of the company. It is applicable for them.
Yeah. Okay.
Then only you will be able to show that these are my employees. जो contractual है वो तो आज आए कल गए.
जी, ठीक है. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your time this evening.
One more question. Quick. Difference between the partnership and LLP?
I'll handle that.
Limited liability partnership. The difference between the two is of the compliance or it is what? How do you
Compliance,
differentiate the two?
compliance as well as the registration, everything.
So partnership is not LLP. It is simple partnership between.
Simple partnership, yes. And LLP is different. LLP is limited liability partnership. That is different.
Word I heard, but what is the difference? It is the safety issue. It is the compliance. What is the difference? If I go for a partnership, why should I go for a LLP and why should I go for a partnership or why shouldn't I?
मैम ये तो बहुत लंबा डिटेल में हो जाएगा. I don't think
ओके, मतलब दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस और क्या एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं, तो आप बता क्विकली और जो आप समराइज कर सकते हो. क्या डिफरेंस है दोनों में, एक मोटा मोटा.
मैम पार्टनरशिप में आपकी अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटीज होती है. ओके, ओवरऑल सिंगल पार्टनर. और जो लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी होती है उसमें आपका सारी चीजें जो है वो लिमिटेड हो जाती है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द कैपिटल. ओके,
अच्छा जी. ओके.
Ma'am, we'll cover and talk about that more in detail. No issues. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am. Yes, for the next.
Sorry to held her up. So, but I just wanted to know. But मैं फिर कभी समझती हूँ आपसे इस चीज को.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am. We have our next guest for the evening already here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ma'am, for holding you up.
No, that's okay, ma'am.
Not an issue.
I'm seeing Saxena madam also. So,
yes. So she's gonna talk about the registration for the business today.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Good evening, Neelam ma'am. So she's back.
Thank you,
once
ma'am.
again. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Neelam ma'am.
Good
So
evening.
ma'am talked about the aspects of business model to all of you, and today she's here with us again.